So, hi everyone. Now we are moving on to the next step, that is the data extraction. And after that, we'll be doing the analysis. But today's session is just about the data extraction thing. Okay. So, in the CDC Wonder database, as we saw earlier, also, there are different options: multiple cause of death final and multiple cause of death provisional. We will go for the multiple cause of death final. Okay. So, now we are choosing this one. And we have the option of extracting data from 1999 to 2020, then we have 2018 to 2023, and this is the provisional data that has not been yet confirmed by the hospitals, and that is just like about to be confirmed, and that is 2018 till last week. Okay, so this is the data that we have to check. Okay, so firstly we will extract this one, and then we will move towards the other one. Okay, so I'm just doing the data request, and then I will press the I agree button. Okay, sorry, let me open up the template for the extraction. Okay, so now here I have written the CDC Wonder. The first data extraction that I am about to do is from 1999 to 2020. You have to remind me, and I will also be reminding myself that I have to show you guys how to extract this data also. Okay, so how will you go around it? First of all, we will extract the data that is the overall mortality data. For that, we will choose year here, and I will press all of these buttons. I need all this data. I want the age adjusted rate, the standard errors, and all that stuff. Okay. Next, all the states. I need the data of all states because I am just checking all the whole mortality that has been because of one disease, all origin, all genders, all races, and all values, all weekdays, all places of death, all causes of death. And now, here for the multiple cause of death, I am going for a disease that is the intestinal infectious disease because that was close to me and there has been no CDC done over on this beforehand, and the mortality rate is really high for this disease. Okay, so let me check the data. I have sent the request. It is now showing me the data, and from 1999 to 2020, there has been around 260,000 deaths. Okay, overall. So this data was really fascinating for me because in a developed country like the US, there are so much mortality happening from the intestinal infectious diseases that could have been easily prevented. Okay, so I used this one. I used this data. Okay, and the good thing is because the mortality rate is good. There is an increasing trend. So they like in the 1999, the mortality rate was 2,000, but at the end it was around 13,000. So yeah, that's cool. So I will save this data. I will export this as an Excel file, and now this data has come here. Oh, sorry, I just clicked it, crossed it. Yes, I want to open it. Okay, some people do it. Firstly, they extract the data and then they clean the data, but no, I don't like that thing. I prefer cleaning it side by side. Okay, so now in the notes, I will write overall because by the time we will have extracted all the data, it will be confusing for us to write it later on. Okay, so now I have written overall here, and this is the total mortality, and this whole thing we will delete because we don't need this information. This is all the extra stuff, the references and all that. Where did they got this data from? Okay, we are cleaning the data set. Okay, so what I have done here, I have written the CDC wonder and I am now extracting this data. I have written the code of the intestinal infectious disease, that was the ICD code, because I don't want to forget it. And now I am doing the first step, that is the overall mortality. Here I am. Okay. There are 2 years. I will just delete this year code because it is extra information. The death population would remain. I have 8 adjusted rates. Okay. So I don't need them. I will delete this crude rate. All these columns that are containing the crude rates. And this is the percentage of total death. Okay. So now the whole table is cleaned. I've got all the data I need. I will save this data and then I will cross it. Okay. Today we will just be discussing the data extraction. Next step. Next, I have to extract the data for the gender. Okay, what I will do here, I will place here the gender, and here I will put the year. You just have to do like this, and okay. And for the next steps, we won't be changing anything else. It's just like it will stay the same. And I will just check that I hope nothing is wrong. I have this code here and all the data is same. So I will just send the data here. I will be sharing this template file also with you guys. You have to extract data in this way. First, we have corrected the overall mortality. Now we are doing the gender-wise mortality. After this, we will do the age groups. Okay. So now I have gotten this data also. This is the female and the males 1999 to 2020. Again, it's the same value of the total, that is 259, and that's cool with me. So I will export it, I will download it. I have got it again. I will clean this data set again. I will be removing this one. I will remove this code, then also this year code. We got this extra. Death population will remain. I will remove the crude rate because I have gotten the age adjusted rate. This is the female. This is the total value of female. Okay, is here I can write overall or the total. And here this is the total of males. This is the overall. And this is the total again. Okay. So now this data is also cleared. I will just, I have cleaned it. I will save it, and then I will save this data in a separate folder, and I will be done with it. Okay. So now next one. This was I have extracted the data for the mortality. I have extracted the data for the gender wise. Now I am moving on to the age group wise, and then we will stop the session. And then in the next one, I will be doing this one. Okay, so the first, next thing I should be doing is the age. Okay, so for the age ones, you can do in different ways. That depends on the topic. Okay, so firstly, it can be like this, that if I am doing in the heart failure, for the heart failure patients. Heart failure does not happen more often in the young population. So I don't need to extract data for the younger population, although I can, and I can do that. But the thing is, sometimes we have to see that whether data extraction for that thing is necessary or not. Okay. So for that thing, you can either check on other related CDCs, like if I'm doing a research on heart failure, I can check this research, as I guess I showed you guys beforehand, also trends in heart failure related mortality. Okay. Mm, wait a minute. Okay, so what they have done here is they have extracted data for the people above the age of 75 years, because they have done this thing that they want to know that heart failure is more common in people above the 75 years. Although I think 75 is a big limit, they should have done from above 40, but that's totally fine. They would have explained it. Whenever you define an age, you have to explain it. Okay. So, for example, I am doing breast cancer. Breast cancer is more common among the women above 25 years of age or 30 years of age. So, I can choose doing only in the females who are above 30 years of age. Okay. But I will have to explain using different references that why I have chosen this age. Okay. So for the intestinal infectious diseases, of course, they can happen in the young, they can happen in the elderly. I don't need to explain. One of our study group, they chose diabetes and type 2 diabetes mellitus. So they just chose above 40 and this kind of thing. So if for age groups, you can. Okay. Now, how will you extract data for age group? You will choose year here. All this stuff the same. This same. All these things same. You will not touch any of this stuff. Only you will be making the changes in this age groups. Okay. So for the first one, what age groups I defined, I took the help from AI, and it helped me define these age groups. He said that you should. classify the age groups as this: infants and young children, 0 to 4 years, school age children, adolescents, young adults, middle aged adults, and this and this. But also, I have to give reasoning for this, that this age group defines this one and that. Okay, so for that, later on in the methodology section, we will be explaining that. Okay, so let me go forward with it. If I am choosing just one age group, the CDC window does not help me extract the data. Okay, so if I have chosen just one age group, it is saying please select more than one age group. Okay, so I will have to choose two. So I have chosen this one: infants and children, and then I will extract the data. I will export this data and download it. Now it will have come here. Okay, this was from, now I will write here which age group was it. It was 0 to 4 years. 0 to 4 years. Okay, and I will copy it and I will delete all this below because it is just not necessary. Okay, and then what I will do, I will remove this year code. I will remove this crude death rates. Okay, and now next data I would be extracting would be the age groups above this one. I will not change anything else. I will go down. I will use this one, the school going children and the adolescents. Okay, and then I will send the data again. I will export this data. There is so much of the unreliable data. I will be showing you guys later on how to just remove this unreliable data. Yes, I want to open it. Okay, so now we have choose the 5 to 24 year group. 5 to 24 years. hmm And I will drag this down. I will be deleting this one, all this data. That's all rough stuff. Then I will go above and I will be deleting this. I will be deleting the crude rates. Okay. And now I will be copying all of them and taking them into one file of age groups. Okay. So I will be copying it from here to the data that was already I had cleaned up, and I'll be copying it here. Okay, but still one thing. Okay, let me tell you now. Even there, the data is shown as unreliable. Okay, but it is showing the deaths and it is showing the population. So I cannot do this thing that I just delete this data. If all of these columns, all of these columns were showing unreliable, I could have omitted this data and have mentioned this in my methodology that the data for the age group 5 to 24 years of age is unreliable data that is present in the CDC wonder, and I cannot use this data. Okay. And it is not a mistake on my part because it is the data that has been collected by the CDC government, not by me. So they cannot say, okay, why is the data is not available and stuff like that. Okay. The data is not there, data is unreliable. What can I do? So for the unreliable data, what we can do is we can replace it either with 0 or we can replace it with 0.001, make it really, really significant. If we leave it as such, what will happen? Joint point our software that it will not read this data and it will be creating problems. So we can just replace it like that. Okay, I replaced it with this. Although I still think we will have to, in the methodology, we will have to tell about this thing that it was showing unreliable data because we have to report anything that we can. It is not a mistake on our part, it's a mistake on their side. They have not collected the data properly. So we don't need to be shy away from anything. Again, we will collect the data and send it. Okay, so you will be doing these steps till you have done all the age groups, and so for the overall, we have done it. For the gender wise, we have done it. And then we would have done the age group wise. Next, we have to move towards the race. and the geographical location and the places of let me do the places of death and then we will close. Okay, for the places of death, you will not use any year and all that stuff. We just want to know where the people died, okay? Because if we do for every year where the people died, that would maybe making a huge amount of data, okay? Because see, while I was going down, I saw that only 2 year groups were selected, so I have to make sure that this does not happen because this will interfere with the data collection. Because I have to see all the data, okay, that is there. And because intestinal infectious diseases do not lead to deaths of the people in the hospital, so if even if I press this place of death, it will not show any data that much. Okay, it is showing here. Okay, for the intestinal infectious disease, when it's saying that the people around 178 people died inpatient in the year, this many people died, these many people arrived dead on facility arrival, and these many people died in unknown in the homes, in the hospice facilities, in nursing homes. Okay, and these many people died here. So this is important data. I will also extract this data and save it with me. Okay, so let's end the meeting and then I will be telling you guys the next section, the other parts.